how has business as a spiritual practice been evolving for you?
Oh, that's like my main spiritual practice right now. I know there was a time where I love this frame. This is from Locke Kelly. He says there's waking up, waking down, and waking out. So waking up out of identification. I'm not this body and this mind. And then it's waking down, embodiment. I have a body and a mind. I'm more than that. And waking out is this more awakened doing, being in the world. Yeah. And for a long time after a lot of the silent retreats, I just wanted to sink my teeth into all of life and know myself as all of it. And the pendulum swung into business. I was like, let's create a business. Let's really give back. It felt like a deep calling. And for me, I think this is my main spiritual path right now, is letting anything that feels unresolved in me around my business be part of my practice. Yeah. The way that I'll coach coaches around it is oftentimes they'll say, I hate putting myself out there. And I'm like, are you putting yourself out there? Or are you putting your services out there? Or they're like, charge what you're worth, and this is like a very well-intended, but it's like, you could never charge who you are. Your services are what we charge. And so like really disidentifying with that. And especially when people are starting their own thing versus being an employee and getting a paycheck, it can feel like it's them. Yeah. And really unraveling slowly with mindfulness and stillness, oh, I am not what I do. Yeah. Because there's so much, especially in Western culture, that's like we are what we produce. And we can know that at one level and maybe even know that, but do we really live that? Do we really integrate that? And that anything that has been contracting me is part of my spiritual path to keep helping me wake up to the freedom that's inherently and already here. So running a team of like 33 and having 450 students over the last 2 years and all the things is like, okay, I get to continue to use all of the grounded practical things that are, we're not going to be good at all of it. Yeah. And being able to receive support or ask for what we want, all the different ways that this psychologically can come up. And, and I also just want to differentiate the difference between awakening and spirituality, how I hold it. Yeah. Awakening really just being about knowing myself as beyond this egoic, limited story of who I think I am. Yeah. Ego meaning identified with thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Whereas spirituality, I find, is like moving the energy of your kundalini and all that stuff is beautiful. And I know for me, I could get lost in the rabbit hole of all the different spiritual paths. And I feel like it's candy and it's fun, but I'm also much more committed to the awakening path.
Yeah, I love that. You also, by virtue of doing that, you give yourself the opportunity to discover more of yourself. You put yourself in a position where it's like, whoa, I have hundreds of students. I have to show up. I got to show up if I really want to be supportive in the way and that I desire. So that's it's like putting yourself out there, like claiming, okay, I am this. I'm going to start this podcast. I am going to start scheduling things and make it tangible and real, and put yourself in a position where it's uncomfortable and you've got to show up.
Yeah. We don't put ourselves out there, but we put our work out there. And like those subtle things of like, and we hear that in our vocabulary all the time. Because that's when it feels like if I'm putting myself out there, then I'm on this roller coaster of like, my business is doing well, my business isn't doing well, or I did a great job. And that's where I can get really, tired if I'm doing that versus just kind of stepping back and noticing. And truthfully, when I was creating the certification program, which was really a huge leveling up of my psychology and all of the skill sets, I've never felt more spiritual support than anything in my life. Like I felt so much light on my back. I felt there was an alignment and energy moving through me for, goodness, it's been like 2 years on another level. And it feels like when we answer the call to be of service and we kind of get out of our own way, there's a source of energy and alignment that can fuel us that is beyond stamina. It's just this, I've never had anything like it in my life. And I feel like every time I've said yes to whatever that call is, I've been supported in a more energetic way than I had ever thought.
Yeah. It feels like grace.
Yeah.
It's like you start pulling on that string of how you feel like you, what is truly lighting you up in life. And then life just kind of supports you. It's like, yes, more of this.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm still I'm systems and team and some of that, like performance reviews and KPIs, those were not my skill set. And so there's a point, and sometimes with business, where you are resourceful, you do what's sort of being asked of the moment, and then it can grow you, and then you hand it off, or you learn skills, or, but every moment of answering the call, whether it's relational, professional, all of it will give us an opportunity. And my experience is that, and my bias is, if I'm proactive, because nobody makes us feel a certain way, right? They kind of knock on the door, and those triggers or those parts of us that were unintegrated sort of answer.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so that was in me, and maybe this relationship or this business endeavor brought that out of me. But if it was in me, I want to look at it so I can help integrate it. So if somebody knocks on the door, it's not answering again. Yeah. And so being proactive on a spiritual path, being younger, it's like, then I don't have to continue playing these things out, because I got to really resolve it at the root and enjoy my life freer, lighter, happier as a result. Yeah. And that's maybe part of my biased opinion, but I would rather be proactive to look at those things so I don't have to have this heavy load the rest of my life.
Yeah. And I think it's a really beautiful framework to look at all the different dimensions of your life as a vehicle for spiritual awakening, yeah. Whether it's business, whether it's romantic relationships or otherwise, your own personal health journey, whatever it is in your life, there's going to be things that are confronting to you, and you can either be defined by them, or you can use it as a tool to step into who you truly are.